All right. Yeah. Before we get into the show, we already talked a little bit. Drones. I know it's a weird turn, but drones are everywhere.
They're in Jersey, northern Jersey. It's where I'm from. That's where my mom is. She hasn't seen a drone yet, but apparently everybody in her office is talking about it.
Okay. Have they seen it?
Somebody apparently has. See, this is the thing that the fact that anybody is taking seriously that like the government is coming out and saying like, oh, we just don't know. I mean, come on.
Well, the government now said, like Biden said, it's not. This fine. It's not going to hurt anyone. We're not doing anything. But there are a lot of conspiracy theories because they're showing up in California, right? I believe.
Yeah.
And they're showing up in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Very weird.
Yeah.
Very
there's all kinds of theories about it, about like there's military bases around there. And this is the thing. If there was a threat, any kind of threat, it just wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Come on. Like they made movies like Top Gun was all about like entering the airspace. We're going to get them right away.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden there's thousands of drones all over the place and nobody seems to really be like, they're safe, but like we don't really know what they are. I don't buy it.
And there's flashlights on all of them. They're literally lighted light bulbs up in the sky. Like if you were trying to be covert, why would you just turn the light bulb off? Like you can see them from miles away. Like if you were really trying to be inconspicuous about it, if it was aliens, if it was
they can make it look like aliens a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's like literally like landing lights from
yeah, literally I literally own 3 drones. I own 3 DJI. We can put them all over the strip. Tonight we can go and do it if we want. Look at that. They started showing up in Vegas now.
So because you work with drones, is there anything that you're like, oh, those are like something else in terms of like level of sophistication, or are these big drones?
No, these things are just, I don't know, they're just, you look at them and they're like, they move just like a drone. They're not like super fast. They're not. They're just.
What is the reason? That's the whole thing. People now, the problem is when the government doesn't come out and tell you what the reason is, then now all these stupid conspiracy podcasts, now they're saying that they're looking for aliens or there's some nuclear weapons.
Yeah, there's like a suitcase bomb.
There's nuclear weapons that are being snuck into America and stuff. Now people go running wild.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with not just telling people what it is. Because already people are on edge a little bit about, oh, there's other, like, I don't think any green guy is coming here to check out our world.
Yeah.
Now I do, the closest to that I do believe, we send out drones, we send out satellites. I believe other planets, you'd be ignorant to not believe there's other life forms somewhere in the galaxy far, far away.
I agree, yeah.
And I don't, if they're that advanced, they could send satellites over here or whatever, and one may pass. But little green dudes.
Well, you know what I heard? I heard
Tell me
something recently that like it's the most practical one, which is that there's some kind of contract with the FAA or something that has expired, and that they're flooding the skies with drones to pass legislation in order to have more control over shooting things down in the sky in general. Because right now they don't have the authorization to basically have total control over like anybody puts anything in the sky. There's probably some kind of regulatory thing or something for a private citizen. Whatever it is, they want, the theory is that they want to be able to say, oh God, we don't know what to do. And they're just like, people will be like, just fucking shoot them down, get rid of them. And they'll be like,
so this is
okay,
the power
so now
play.
in case anybody comes in with drones, because dude, you've seen those shows with those Chinese drone shows and stuff like that. Like that's like, I think it's a serious thing that
shows
people
with Chinese drones.
Right.
Is that something you watch? Chinese
somebody
drone
sent
shows?
me literally like military exercises where, dude, there's like thousands and thousands of these things, and they do these exercises where you're just like, it's swarms and swarms.
Yeah.
I think this is something that like all these governments are probably all trying to combat with each other that we don't really hear that much about. Because think about it, it's kind of freaky. You get like 1,000 drones just swarm in. Like, I don't know how you stop them all at once.
And we're not allowed to shoot them down. I guess not, because it could land on people. It could.
Yeah, but dude, the fact that one of these things that nobody knows what it is that hasn't been shot down, or you haven't heard a story about it being shot down. Other thing, why is it cool to know that the government doesn't have our back? Why would they want us to think that they're not able to figure it out or able to stop it?
But they do know what it is.
Right, but why would the
anything,
perception be like, oh, we don't know. Why would they want us to think they're stupid in any way? Why not? We got it covered. What would be the effect of them being like, we don't know?
But if the government says we don't know, they know. I think most people, they just don't want to tell you what it is.
So you think everybody kind of sees the wink?
Yeah. So you would rather them say, oh, we're not going to tell you what it is.
Because there's a thing where like you're safe. Like, because if they don't know what it is, they could do anything at any moment. We have no clue what they're going to do, and we have no defenses. As opposed to like, listen, you see, it's tricky, right? Because then it's like it's something bigger going on that you're lying to us about. I think people sit there and they have to think about this stuff.
And
because
that's
it's
when
all
they make
about
up all
human
these crazy
perception.
conspiracy
Right.
theories.
Yeah. But I think at the end of the day, I think the fact that everybody's on TikTok and everybody's somebody.
I think people want to know. They want to think that something supernatural is happening too.
Yeah.
Because it's
Right.
if we're just here alone, that's kind of it's a little boring after a while. We're like, okay, there's got to be something else out there. So there's like a
We
thought
want
of that.
there to be something.
It's an endless
There to be
fantasy.
something.
It's an endless.
So you
fantasy.
your mind kind of goes to places. You're like, oh, it could be this, could be that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. For years we were talking about, there's aliens, and the government's like, there's no aliens. And then like 9 months ago, the government was like, all right, there's probably aliens, and people were like, okay, whatever.
They didn't say there was aliens. They were saying there was unidentified flying objects. They didn't say, to me, UFOs and aliens, two completely different things. Because UFOs is unidentified flying objects, which I believe there's tons of, but it could be from other governments. It could be from...
Sure, but the fact that we don't care necessarily, we don't care that much. We don't care that there's for years, we were like, oh my God, we know for a fact that they're in the government's like, this is, Area 51 doesn't exist. And then they finally came out, they're like, okay, there might be a little smoke where there's some fire. And then people just moved right past.
Right. Shouldn't that example alone, if you extrapolate and go, why would I ever not think? Because that's in current time. That's always what they do in like the current moment. They're like, that's crazy. What you're saying is crazy. These people are crazy. And then they give it 20 or 30 years, and it was all true.
Yeah.
But like then they're there's no reason to think that they're not always kicking the can up the road with stuff that they don't want you to know about. Why not? I would do it.
I believe that, but I don't think they like the stories of. I guess my thing is there's so much technology out there where somebody could sneak a picture, sneak this.
Right.
And that,
I agree.
Where
I agree.
government's being leaked all the time.
Right.
And you're saying no one that works at one of these labs that sees an alien or experiment on an alien or that has ever worked there, it doesn't have pictures, doesn't have, that's why I think it's so far. Like you'll have one side go, yeah, there's aliens, they're covering it up. Those same people are like, well, the government's dumb.
But you know what an aspect of that is that I never thought about, and somebody explained this, and like if you actually do the thought experiment, how they compartmentalize information and duties in any project, how they could separate every single person in a department from knowing what the overall
But what
goal
you're
is.
saying is the people that work in this so-called location where this so-called alien life form
Keep
is
their mouths
so-called-
totally shut.
They're the only people in the world
Right,
that keep their mouths shut.
That's true, it's a good point.
And they haven't, and those people they hire hasn't evolved to the people we have today that leaks everything.
Right, we got like two.
Oh, right.
You're saying there would be way more than like
Oh,
two.
unless there was one person that's been there 50, 60 years and going to die in a place. Unless they have a chamber that they bury everybody that works there that never leaves.
Men in black you every day. They
Yes.
zap you.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the only way it could
You're
work.
right. No human being ever has that self-control.
No.
Not anybody I've ever met in my whole life.
No. That's
Including
what I'm
myself.
saying. That's what I'm saying. So if it was real, you're telling me the biggest secret in the world, no one will leak. That's BS to me.
I don't know. We're going to do a science experiment in January because Michael and I are going to Orlando, and we have a covert operation to go to Disney without our children.
Yes.
We'll see which one of us cracks under pressure.
I won't
tells
tell
our
my
family.
kids.
See, I won't tell my family. I swear to God, I will go to my grave knowing that I went to Disney
You don't
for a
think
day.
our families listen to this podcast? I know my wife sometimes.
I was just gonna say, you just said this on the podcast.
I don't know what Rudy's talking about. I am not going to Disney World without y'all.
We jest.
Nah. But back to the drones, man. I they know what they are. And even because I just feel like we want something to be out there that's not out there. People always wanted aliens. That's why since the 20s or whenever they started reporting this, they all look the same because people just copying each other's story. The one person I would believe if they came out with an alien story, like, yo, this thing had a square head. It looked like completely different than the normal thing people picture. Like, oh, the alien head that's this shape.
That happens?
Yeah, that teardrop.
But they all look the same.
Oh, right.
The one
Who came
person
up with that quintessential
Exactly.
kind of image of like
everybody's just
the
copying
big
each
eyes?
other's stories.
Yeah, right.
If someone came out with a different
It's mass hysteria. That's what it is. It gets in your head.
I want to
and
hear.
yeah.
I would believe the one person that, yo, I saw this alien. It was like 300 pounds. It was overweight. Had small eyes.
Yeah.
It was just like jiggling. I was like, oh, that's a different alien.
Where's
believe
the
that.
beef?
Yo,
Yeah.
what about that? You guys remember? I forget when it happened. You remember that those creatures were in that guy's backyard and they called the police and it was a 911 call?
Yeah, it was in Vegas,
It
right?
was in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then those
Yeah.
Yeah.
disappeared and they were like, there are these 2 7-foot-tall things in my backyard.
Yeah.
And they just looked at me and they freaked out and then they zipped up and then on the way there, the cop They had that cop in his car, and that he saw that meteor shower come down, and
Yeah.
then they got the call right at that was crazy.
Oh, that was at the same.
Yeah, but didn't they
Wow.
find out that was false?
No, look it up. I still to this day that family doesn't live in that house anymore, and they're gone. That's what I know.
No way.
Could have been Christopher harassment.
They're gone because the aliens took them, or they
Men in
moved.
the black hats came, Mike, and they took them away.
Yeah.
Do you,
baby.
do you believe in the Illuminati and stuff, or do we not want to talk about that because we don't want to get taken?
I
Greg
think there's
does.
a practical level to everything, and I think that's what's missed. I think when you go vague with stuff, I think that it's difficult. But I think
Do
the
you
idea
okay.
that there are people that have generational wealth, yes,
Oh, of course. But do you believe
That have
here's
similar
what's interesting
interests?
to me?
yeah,
You hear this lot with conspiracy, and a lot
Yeah.
of right wing. There's this deep state, right?
right.
But nobody can tell you what the deep-
Bureaucracy. Yeah, it's the long-term bureaucracy that sees presidents come and go that always stay in government. That
So who's the deep state then?
it's a bureaucrat. It's a unit of bureaucrats that stay in government making.
So you're talking about senators, congressmen.
Yeah, it's a. There's also there are areas of the government that like we just right that like
Well, that's
departments
what
in
I'm
the
wondering,
government
because
that like
that-
have agendas in other aspects of like how the United States moves forward, like intelligence
I get that.
agencies.
No,
right?
I get that. But like when they say they're going to take out the deep state, like I
It's
want to.
vague. It's stupid. Anybody
that's
that
what
says
I'm
something
saying.
vague is just dumb.
Well, why?
I need
Why?
details.
Like that's what I'm saying. They're using this catchphrase, deep state. Tell me who. Since y'all know what it is, tell me what it is.
Yeah.
It's the eyes wide shut party. If you go up high enough, it stops there.
Yep, you get to Hans Gruber. Hans Gruber, Die Hard.
Yeah. It's
Yep,
funny that
exists.
Yeah.
It's
It's like what's Schwab. It's Schwab in that cape, in that outfit. You know, the head of the World Economic Forum.
Oh,
What's his name?
sure. Yeah. I know what you're
Klaus-
talking about.
Klaus
yeah,
Schwab.
Yeah, there you go.
Have
Yeah.
you
Okay.
seen the picture of Klaus Schwab where he's
No.
wearing like a Darth Vader outfit?
Yeah.
Dude, you gotta look into this.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't have enough time. I have kids, man.
Yeah.
You're right. See, that takes away all the need
I know.
to get into anything.
That's
dude.
what people that
That's a
believe in
blessing.
conspiracy theories don't have kids. I believe that,
Yeah.
or their kids are
Blessing.
older where they
Yeah.
can read.
No time.
I'm watching Bluey. Okay, every
Yeah.
day I'm watching Bluey. I'm watching Sonic.
He's part of the deep state.
Yep,
I didn't-
Future part
yeah,
of the future.
that's what it
Like
is.
that kid who watches
Sonic?
Bluey grew up to be that.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Mhm.
Yeah, so the drone things, man, it's gonna be interesting. I don't know,
People are
man.
interested in not.
Do you
interested
okay?
sometimes.
Let's put it in our lifetime. Do you think there will be real evidence of like real aliens? I'm not talking about technology.
Yeah.
Like straight up aliens. Hey, here's one we're gonna show. you.
No.
It's gonna be too hard to like decipher because of AI. You're never gonna know if something. It's just gonna get more and more kind of like intertwined.
Yeah.
What's real, what's not real, and then we're like, oh, we've been in a simulation.
That's
I'm just
another
kidding.
one. We're in a
I'm just kidding.
simulation.
Wouldn't
I
that be
mean, it's
great?
getting to the point where it's like
No,
it's,
dude, a lot
those
of people
worlds are
say that. A
blending.
lot of smart people say that,
Yeah.
and it bugs me. And I'm like, but then I realize they're like really left-brain people, like Elon Musk people that they talk about that we're living in a simulation. And I'm
Right.
like, I don't think so.
Well, maybe they are because they
Yeah.
feel like they
Yes.
want to be. They
I
want.
think so because I think that when you have like maybe a little bit more of developed like emotional side, you're a little bit more grounded in like a different reality than somebody who's always kind of calculating. Like
Yeah.
I think you would see the world that way.